In this chapter, we'll style our website. By the end of this chapter, we'll have gone from bare-bones HTML to this. As ever, if you're familiar with CSS and don't need to go through this, you can download the finished files from Chapter 5 of the working files and go on to the next chapter. If you're not familiar with CSS, then you should do this chapter. My goal, before working on the project, is to introduce to you some of the basic principles of layout and styling. I'll take you through the whole process of styling the movie list page, explaining in detail what we're doing as we go along. As we progress, I'll gradually hand over to you, asking you to progressively type more and more of the style selectors yourself, so that your learning's active. We will start by stripping out all the default styling that we currently have, as this is not useful and is potentially a nuisance. Then we'll create the basic layout, putting the various HTML elements in boxes positioned in different parts of the document window. And then we'll add more detailed styling, the fonts and the colours and the images. By the end of the chapter, you'll have had a good overview of many of the style properties at our disposal. There are literally hundreds of CSS properties, so no tutorial can ever be exhaustive. So I've given you some bookmarks so that you can explore the world of CSS more on your own. Our design will give us clearly delineated sections of the page with a banner area, the various navigation panels, the main area for single movies or the list of movies, and a footer. It's possible to put styles inside our HTML document, in the head section, and then inside opening and closing style tags. But we'll link to an external style sheet right from the beginning. Doing this has 4 advantages. It keeps our styling and content separate, which is something we always want to achieve. Lists of style declarations get very lengthy, and if we have a great mass of style declarations in our main HTML file, it makes it harder to read. Also, we can only use this if we're sure that the styles will only be used just in that one file. Otherwise, we're going to have to write them all again for another file, and then again for another file. Putting our styles in an external style sheet will also speed up page loading, because after the first page is loaded, the style sheet will be cached on the user's hard disk and will not need to be loaded again. If we want to style more than one page, as we do in this case, we should always link to an external style sheet. By doing this, any changes that we make in the style sheet will automatically take effect in all the pages which use it, no matter how many there are. So making changes to the styles is a very efficient process. In an ideal world, all browsers would display web pages identically. Unfortunately, the world of HTML rendering is very far from ideal. And browsers, as you will soon find out, do not all display web pages identically at all. So for this reason, every time we write a website and apply styling to it, we have to check it in a range of browsers as we go along, so that we identify any problems early before they get out of hand. I'll be checking this website in Firefox, Opera, Google Chrome, Safari, and Internet Explorer versions 8, 9, and 10. And we will find that there is indeed a problem. Internet Explorer 8, which is still used in Windows XP, cannot recognize HTML5 tags at all, and it garbles our layout completely. We'll solve this problem by using a script called HTML shiv. Let's start now by having a look at how CSS styles are written. In our HTML, as you know, we have a series of tags or elements, like header, nav, section, footer, things like that. To style these elements, we go to the CSS file and name a selector with exactly the same name as the HTML tag that we're styling. Any of the visible HTML elements we've used can be used as a style selector. The selector is followed by a pair of curly braces, and inside these curly braces we enter the properties for that selector, such as font family, font size, color, things like that. Each of the properties is followed by a colon, and then the value, sometimes a list of values for that property, for instance a font name such as Arial for the font family property, or a font size, 16 pixels, for the font size property, or a color. Each selector may have a list of properties, sometimes quite a long list, and each one of the properties has to be terminated with a semicolon. If we want to apply the same styles to more than one selector in one go, we can use commas and have a list of selectors. So in this example, all text inside all paragraph tags would be given a style of Arial font, a size of 24 points, and the colour grey. Armed with that knowledge, we can now begin our work on styling.